Victoria is running out of gas. But if you opened the newspaper or turned on the TV, you might find that hard to believe. I was thinking about this because just the other day it was announced that gas hot water systems will be phased out of Victorian homes from March of 2027. Now, the Victorian government says that it wants people to be less reliant on gas because it will save them money. Oh, and did I mention before, Victoria is running out of gas. Now, the move to electricity is also a key element in meeting the state's emissions reduction targets of 75 to 80% by 2035 and net zero by 2045. Now, the state government's reforms will require new homes to be all electric. Environment Victoria says that this change will save households around $1,500 annually on energy bills. But why not just drill for more gas, you might ask? Well, that leads to more emissions. More emissions lead to more severe weather events and climate change. So things like more severe floods, fires, droughts, cyclones, and even if you're someone who only cares about the money, these changes will also drive up insurance prices, as well as other disaster-related costs. So infrastructure damage, disaster responses, people's health, and their ability to work or study. Just this year, disasters have already cost Australia $2.2 billion, according to the Treasury. And a report from the Climate Change Authority estimates that by 2050, disasters could be costing us as much as $8 billion a year. According to Josh Runciman, the lead gas analyst at the Institute for Energy, Economics and Financial Analysis, simply drilling for more gas doesn't solve the dwindling supply, because as he told the ABC, only a quarter of the gas produced on the east coast of Australia is used domestically. The rest, it's all exported. Now, of course, exporting gas is a very lucrative market. According to the Australian energy producers, gas exports from Australia earned $92 billion in the 2022-23 financial year. So no wonder that gas companies would be advocating for expansion of drilling operations rather than the electrification of homes. It's probably why we're seeing ads like this.
Australian natural gas power plants are an important backup when demand is high. That's how it helps keep the country running.
And that's just one of many, a part of a wider campaign from the gas industry between December of 2023 and June of 2024 that was documented and studied by a non-profit think tank called Influence Map. Their report says that the gas industry has specifically targeted Australians by playing up fears, like saying the energy transition will negatively impact affordability and security. Meanwhile, if you were tuning in to MasterChef, you would have seen ads promoting renewable gas, which isn't as clean and green as it sounds, because at the end of the day, it's still methane gas that's being burnt, and that contributes to emissions and therefore climate change. According to the Grattan Institute, it's also not commercially viable, so it doesn't make sense. This ad with MasterChef actually breached the ad standards, much to the disappointment of Australian Gas Infrastructure Group, who sponsored the segment. So disappointing that they actually had to pull the ads. And I haven't even talked about News Corp yet, have I? Right. Late last year, News Corp papers published this special report, or exclusive, Step on the Gas. In Queensland, they published it at the same time Brisbane was flooding. Anyway, what made this story so exclusive and such a special report? Well, maybe it was the fact that the story titled literally, Only Gas Can Save Us Now, was sponsored by APA, Tamboran, Santos, and Jamina, aka the fucking gas industry. Now, if you look at the reforms that are in place with what the Victorian government originally planned back in 2022, you'd have to say some of the advertising and industry pressure did have an effect. In October, an exemption was made so that end-of-life gas cooktops didn't have to be replaced with electric ones. And now the Allen government has also decided not to go ahead with implementing the phase-out of gas heaters either. This announcement is being portrayed in some parts of the media as a backtrack or a backflip, which, by the way, if it was a backflip, wouldn't you end up facing the same way you started? Sorry, it's a pet peeve of mine. And yes, look, it is a softening of what was originally planned, but they didn't fully cave in. The announced policy sets up more electrification and a gas phase-out in the future, and the state is still on its path towards net zero. In the future, I imagine that we're going to see all sorts of advertisements and read all sorts of things about renewables and fossil fuels as the nation transitions to different forms of energy. There's money on the line after all. It's up to you how critically you look at it.